So we do have a quorum now, and I think we can begin our regularly scheduled meeting of Norton Conservation Commission for Monday, July 28th, 2025. It is actually now 6:35 p.m. And we will, there were two agendas posted. I don't know if they're different at all.
No, there shouldn't be.
Okay. So we are now opening the meeting. The members participating tonight are myself, Chair Elisa Carroza, Vice Chair Joe Carvalho, Mark Fernandez, Dan Pearson, which at the moment is our full board. We have two vacancies. And we also have John Thomas, our director, and Megan Harrop, our assistant. First item on the agenda is meeting minutes. We have two sets. June 23rd. Any comments on those? If not, we can consider a motion to approve the minutes of June 23rd as submitted.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the June 23rd, 2025 meeting.
Second.
We have a motion by Mark and seconded by Lisa. Dan, you may want to test your audio. You said something, but I didn't hear anything come through. So.
Sorry, Julian, I had my
it's
turned off. That was I.
All right. All right. So roll call vote starting with Dan, Lisa, and Mark.
Aye.
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 And Joe?
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. The motion carries. We have unofficial, we have minutes of our last meeting, which was not I don't know where those are. Oh, here we go. Here's my copy. July 14th, we only had Dan, myself, and Mark. You were there. Does that sound right? Yeah. So in this situation, legally,
No, you don't make any motion or anything. You
okay.
just
So
say that we didn't have a meeting and you'd be done with it.
we have a record of our attempted meeting. We'll leave it at that. The next item is what was a violation at 93 King Philip Road. Do we have new information about that?
Yeah, so I reached out to, they reached out to me last week, and they have a environmental consultant who's working on putting together a plan, and hopefully they'll have something in place for the 25th, that it's our meeting. So we're hopeful that they will have a restoration plan and be working on that. If they don't, I told them that things will probably get pretty ugly, especially since we've kind of given them understanding of how sensitive this is. So I'm hoping that they come with something that is going to satisfy the commission's approval.
Okay. So just as an update for in-person and versus, the hybrid model, we actually received, I don't know if my computer just died.
No, we can see you.
Oh, here we go. We did receive the opinion from town council, which indicates that the hybrid model, even though it is in that it varies from the town policy for remote meetings, that it is allowed. And so that accounts for why we can be hybrid now. And we will continue to be hybrid. And do you want to add anything, John, or is that?
Nope, I have nothing to add. Looks like Julian, myself, and Megan are here this evening. We're still looking basically for 2 more members to fill up our Conservation Commission. So if anyone that might be out there or is going to watch this video, if you're interested about the Wetlands Protection Act or the environment itself, feel free to reach out to me. We're still looking for 2 members.
Yeah, I put out the word. I don't know if anybody's inquired.
We've had 2 inquiries so far, but they haven't reached out since I told them basically what it was all about. I told them we were meeting this evening. You can meet via Zoom or in person. So
Okay, we'll hope for the best. Water bodies treatments?
Yep. So they finished the first round of treatments for Chartley and also Norton Reservoir. Winnicott will be next, and they should be hopeful to be finished with all their scheduled treatments come late August.
Update on watershed analysis. This I'm not familiar with. Tell me what's
Yes.
going on.
So since 2023, we've been having some really pronounced flooding issues over on Barrows Court. And it's been really bad where the emergency personnel and others, fire department, police department, have been out there to try to help the residents get from point A to point B. It's been a tough go. We think we have a potential compromised pipe after discussing conversations with the consultant. So we're looking basically to see what we potentially can do with them to help us move forward and find a pathway that's going to work for all of us and try to do it. And if we can, potentially put an article in for town meeting to get some source funding to assist us in the process. So that's currently where we are on that part of the project. But we're just hoping for the best right now.
John, quick question. Where is the compromised pipe allegedly?
So the pipe itself is located on Barrows Court, and it's right. It actually goes out to a man-made swale, which we have a designated drainage easement, and the water
Is that the
department.
right away an easement there, about quarter mile in?
Yes, and the pipe itself is about 300 feet in length, and we're hoping to potentially either see if there's any obstructions. We're going to run a TV line down the pipe to see if there's any sort of obstruction right now, and then hopefully we can kind of see if there's any large sediment within the pipe. We kind of just looked at it and kind of said that the grade and pitch doesn't look appropriate for that kind of situation, but we're hoping that, whatever we can do in the short term could potentially resolve some of the matters. But I think it's more of an issue where the pipe itself wasn't set or wasn't engineered properly. So that's kind of the situation that we're kind of running into, is there's water just sitting at where it's supposed to be flowing down gradient. And during these significant rain events, the water's just basically raising and raising and raising. And it gets to a point where it just backs up because there's no pitch in the pipe to allow for the water to go out. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And we're hoping that, I don't know if it was a settling issue or any sort of frost heaving occurred, or whether it was just the poor design from the initial installation back in the 70s when that whole development was created. So we're going to investigate everything. We hired an engineer to basically take a look at it. And we're hopeful that we can kind of find a solution that could be cost effective, but, no promises at this point.
So we're not seeing any flow out of that pipe into the swale?
No, I was there. I was there last week, and we haven't had any significant rain, and there's standing water in that pipe still. So my inclination is either it is kind of like this, and that's the issue we're dealing with, or it's just straight flat, and there's no pitch for it to the water to get out from where it comes in.
And did you happen to notice, is that galvanized style piping that?
No,
we've
it's
seen?
concrete. So it's probably 5-foot sections of concrete pipe over a 300 span. So, we're talking, I don't know, 40 plus connections. Yeah, it's not a good situation.
Thank you, John.
Yep.
All right, so voting on a request for continuation. All right, so we have, I think, 2 hearings that had requested continuation. So, 61 West Main Street. All right, so that would be under new public hearings. So that hasn't even opened yet, but they request that it not be open today.
Yeah, the consultant is on vacation.
Okay. So
Well, we
this
have
is-
to open them and then continue them.
Yeah, we'll have to open and continue it. We
You have
need
to
to
open them.
open. We need to open up the project and continue,
Yep.
and that way, for instance, we can entertain it on the 25th.
All right. Shall we open it at its appropriate spot on the agenda, or open it now?
No, well, we probably want to open it when they come up on the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and then the second one is 0 Leonard Street. That is a continued public hearing, so they're requesting a continuation until August 25th, and I think we can entertain a motion now.
I'll make
I'll
a
make
motion.
that motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
We have a motion by Dan, seconded by Lisa, for continuation of file number 250-1178 until August 25th. Dan and Lisa, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And it looked like Lisa threw in an aye there as well. And Mark and Joe?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. The motion carries. Public inquiries, department updates, anything there?
So just so everyone's aware, the Norton High School has requested a certificate of compliance for the athletic fields, and I kind of brought it to them lightly, the concerns with Barrows Court, and told them that we also, as part of this project, needed some more information from them. I've been reaching out via email. They need to provide us an affidavit which certifies that the engineer is signing off for all conservation and stormwater regulation compliance. They provided us, a construction one for building code, and I said that's not good enough. We need just a letter that says it meets all the WPA and stormwater provisions. Additionally, they needed to provide us additional information, so they're working on that. So they might be on our agenda for the 25th. But I told them that, the biggest challenge would be just to make sure that they have all the documents, because the issues of the high school kind of went hand in hand with the flooding incidents that we saw on Barrows Court. So we just want to make sure that, that construction doesn't relate in any way to the cause or any sort of the potential discharge to the Barrows Court area from the creation of those. Obviously that all went through conservation, went through the procedures and everything like that, but we just need them to certify that with the affidavits and letters and illicit discharge and everything like that. So we're just looking for them to provide that information to us, and that way they have a complete package so they can be in front of us for the 25th.
All right. So our next item is file number 250-1174, which is 361 Rear Old Colony Road. And as I recalled from our the last time we discussed this, pretty much everything was complete. And we continued it in order to issue an order. Is that your recollection?
That's correct. The peer review passed, and Pat Brennan didn't have any other concerns or comments regarding the stormwater design or the retro, I guess, revisions that the Silva Engineering provided us, and that they will be, I guess, potentially closing out the next project and be able to, the commission may issue an order of conditions.
So I guess unless there's any further questions or discussion, we can consider a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
So we have a motion by Lisa, seconded by Joe. Lisa, Mark, and Joe, how do you vote?
Aye.
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 And it looks like Dan is voting yes as well.
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye, so the motion carries. We will consider the order of conditions a little later. Our next item is the new public hearing, file number 250-1180, 61 West Main Street. We have not opened this previously, but we are very familiar with this project. It is the site of the Honeydew Donuts business, and but they do request a continuation until 8/25. Is that correct?
Yeah.
August. Okay. So we can't have any discussion because there's no representative, but we can consider a motion to continue this public hearing until August 25th.
So moved.
Second.
So we have a motion by Dan, seconded by Lisa. Dan, Lisa, and Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
And Joe?
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye, and the motion carries. Next item is file number 250-1181, 260 South Washington Street. We had an informal discussion in our last meeting, which was an unofficial meeting. So we do have a representative of the applicant, and so you'll need to review everything we
Plans
spoke
to-
about last time.
Conservation ORAD.
This one?
Yep.
Okay.
We should only need that and the one above it. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the Norton Conservation Commission, members of the staff, and any concerned parties in the audience or on the Zoom hearing. My name is David Mackwell with Kelly Engineering Group. We are here to present the project at 260 South Main Street. The commission, we're going to start with an item that doesn't necessarily have to be in the public hearing. The project or the site came for a abbreviated notice of resource area delineation back in January and February. At that time, it was determined by the Norton Conservation Commission that there are two bordering vegetated wetlands shown on the plan here on the right. And then there are also three isolated wetlands in the front of the property. Part of the order of resource area delineation, condition number 6, required that the applicant investigate the three small depressions for presence of vernal pool species and any other wildlife associated with Mass Natural Heritage. About a month ago, we filed a report from Ecotech that tracked the ponded water and species from March all the way till mid-June or so, or late in June. And they determined that they found one species, fairy shrimp, in the early part of April. Then they didn't find anything else, and the report concludes that there are no species in the depressions that would warrant filing with Mass Natural Heritage or these becoming vernal pools. So we want to present this piece of information to the commission because it's critical that the applicant complies with that particular condition of the ORAD before we move forward with presenting a project. So with that and through the chair and the staff, I'll end this discussion on the condition number 6 of the ORAD number. What is the number? 2501171.
Okay. My computer is dying, so I may have to change to that one, but, all right. Do we have any questions on the application?
I have a question for John. John, the presence of fairy shrimp, even though at the time this was done, I know some vernal pools also, not every year all the species are in the pools. Is this normal we're seeing this? I'm just questioning, it just seems a little odd with the presence of fairy shrimp, and maybe it's just a reporting thing. Is there any clarification?
So, just to, I guess, give you a little bit more clarification on this, I actually went out there and I found similar kind of situations where I didn't find fairy shrimp. I spent a good 15, 30 minutes on each pool, dip netting, just to make sure that, for instance, there was, either the presence or not the presence of any sort of vernal pool indicators. So for, I guess, John Rockwood to do an investigation and find fairy shrimp, I think he's a little bit more thorough in his investigation than I am. I was a wetland scientist for years and I did a lot of vernal pool surveys. So I can, I guess, attest, I don't know if I want to use that word, but I can back up the data and state that I didn't find any potential vernal pool species out here when I did them. And I did investigation in late March, and I also did an investigation a month later. So the pools were dry the month later that I was going out there to take a look at them. And majority of the time you need to have enough inundation and enough potential vernal pool habitat for the, I guess, vernal pool breeding cycle to occur. And I didn't see that. I mean, I'm not a vernal pool expert, but I do know is that, for them to be certifiable, they should be, I guess, meeting those criteria where you can have the I guess, the metamorphic period of time. And fairy shrimp are an indicator of, yes, it is inundated for a certain period of time. The issue with fairy shrimp is that they don't have a very long lifetime cycle. And that's basically why I see them as potentially being a obligate species. But for instance, for the pool actually to be, of a good certified status, it needs to have other, I guess, potential and also obligate species to also go along with it. But that's just my two cents on it. That's how I looked at it when I was a consultant as well. So I'm not going to say no to this report. I think that they did a very good, thorough investigation, especially if I didn't find anything when I was out there. So I leave it up to the commission for them to make a decision on this one. I'm just giving my 2 cents as to what I also would probably state for these vernal pools.
One other question. Did you see any rust lines or did you do a boring or anything like that?
I did not do a boring when I was out there.
Okay. Thank you, John.
Yep.
So this is strictly on the ANRAD. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is to basically provide surety for the ANRAD. Part of it was that they do the vernal pool assessment and determine if any of the certified vernal or any of the vernal pools on the property met certified status. In the event that they would come in and potentially have to, I guess, go through the process with filing with Army Corps of Engineers and basically making sure that everything checks out from the federal side.
Because there is a plan for the warehouse.
Yes.
Also.
Yes, and that's the next step that I think that David's going to go into.
Yep. We just want to make sure that we've satisfied the commission with respect to condition number 6 of the ORAD. And want to have that discussion with the commission to make sure that we're all on the same page, because once the determination was made by the specialist, the applicant proceeded to make an application with the commission for a notice of intent.
I assume we're set to go ahead with that now.
So you want me to show the other plan?
Yeah, I don't know how this works. We've never had a ORAD condition like that. So, like, does the commission have to vote on accepting the report, or I don't know how to best proceed on behalf of the client?
I think from our own benefit is that you had to basically provide that report before the commission could entertain the potential notice of intent. So if the commission doesn't have any reservations with the status of the vernal pools, then I think the next item would be that they can open and entertain the notice of intent discussion.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
So we can just open the next exhibits conservation right under that.
This
There's
one?
Yep. There are some other documents here on the thumb drive as well, but this slideshow should be enough to get through the initial presentation. This slide, I'll let you get situated with your Adobe, some flip pages. This is a picture slide of what we think the building is going to look like. I'll just, for the benefit of the commissioners, I'll just explain the proposed project is a multi-tenant cold storage project. The proposal is to create 8 small cold storage suites, each consisting of 2 loading docks, a couple parking spaces, a small loading area, a small office, a small mezzanine, and a significant I'm
just gonna go show this
Yep.
this screen right
this
here.
one right
Yep.
there, and a significant cold storage warehouse in the back. The applicant is a leader in the cold storage industry, spent an entire career building much larger cold storage facilities, some of which are around here. I don't know if there's one in Norton, but there's certainly one in Raynham, might be the closest to here that we worked on anyway, but there's a bunch around Massachusetts and throughout the whole country. As I had said, the applicant is an expert in this area, and his next venture is to provide smaller units so people can rent them from themselves and don't have to go to the big warehouses. Feels he can provide a more cost-effective solution for food producers and people who have demand for cold storage. Could be anything from flowers that wouldn't need to be so cold all the way down to ice cream, which is much colder. So in addition to, as I've talked a lot about the building, we have some small parking bays out in front for car parking. Each unit gets 2 trailer positions, and then we have some trailer storage around the site. The client doesn't know exactly what the demands are going to be, but he's willing to maximize his ability to store things here. The one thing that's different about this project, I think I mentioned it at the informal session, is everything that you see that would normally be pavement is going to do out of concrete. As I had mentioned, he's got a lot of experience throughout the country and has owned buildings for long periods of time and feels that the concrete is a much better way to go for his long-term hard solutions for the paved areas. So if we just go to the next slide, here is just a colored slide of, what we flagged out, some of the appropriate things for the project. In the color pink on the right-hand side and in the back is the bordering vegetated wetlands, and then the other areas were in the front. We did get a good look at the town of Norton's policies associated with wetlands, and we've respected those. We do have a retaining wall around some of the wet areas. A retaining wall is greater than 30 feet from the wetland line to ensure that we can protect the 25-foot no disturb policy. It gives us 5 feet to build the wall and put the erosion controls in. And then one thing that was mentioned at the informal meeting was to show the snow storage, so I just highlighted a little bit here. All along the bottom, we have some extra room here. And in the back, we have room for snow that will drain back toward the stormwater best management practices. So if we go to the next slide, this is kind of a utility plan, and what we've colored up here is the drainage system. What you see is there are large infiltration basins under the parking lots. These are sized to retain and infiltrate the 100-year storm. The area around this site, in and around this site, is very well drained soils. We've done multiple test pits, both for drainage and for Title V. We have very well drained sands and gravels here. So taking advantage of that, all the stormwater will go through water quality devices. Those were designed to also meet the Norton Stormwater Management Bylaw to exceed 90% TSS removal, as demonstrated in the stormwater management calcs, and then they would overflow to the large recharge systems, which are designed to infiltrate the whole storm. There is an overflow on each one in case we get more rain or for some reason they don't work. That would overflow the water back to the wetland areas. Belt and suspenders, the overflows are above the top of stone within each system. So each system is very large, has a lot of volume, and is designed to mitigate the 100-year storm. Working through the planning board process, the planning board did hire PGB, Pat Brennan Engineering, to peer review the site development plans and the stormwater management report. We did get through, I think, 2 rounds now with Mr. Brennan, and we have a clean peer-reviewed calculations by the peer review consultant. And we look forward to working with him and the staff on any other ongoing issues post-approval for inspections and or site visits. So I think, do we have any more slides here? So we have prepared a landscaping plan that we did get the zoning bylaw. I think these are native species here. Provides screening along the sides that have neighbors, and then generic plants in the rest. And the wooded areas that are to remain in the wetlands area would maintain the tree cover there. I don't think we need too many of these lighting plan. That's not a conservation thing. And I think we probably go back to one of the other plans. So I don't think I have too much more to add right now, but through the chairman and the commission members and any concerned parties in the audience, we're here to answer any questions or explain the project anymore.
Any questions on anything we've discussed in this hearing?
I have a couple. Julian, did you provide a detail for the wall, and can you go over the height of that wall at the various locations?
Sure. We did provide a generic detail. What these are, it wouldn't be on this plan. It's going to be in the full plan set.
Okay. Is that in a different attachment?
It is.
Okay. Under.
If you just went to, actually, if you just go to planning.
Yep.
And
So is the wall detail in the Conservation Commission set that we're...
absolutely, yes, it is.
It's
It is. But what
Okay.
these are what we would call fill walls. So there'll be segmental block walls that the structural engineer gets, involved after we get approvals and we get all the shop drawings.
Site development plans?
Yeah, you can open those. And that should be, we have a generic detail and that we call for shop drawings and stuff like that. So it's one of our generic details. The wall at the highest point, I think, is about 6 feet.
What's the detail sheet? Here
Right
we go.
there.
Okay.
There's a generic detail
Okay.
right here.
So if by chance your structural determines that changes, how do you get that update to us?
We can agree to give you the shop drawings themselves. We have no problem with that. What generally happens with these is they take the existing conditions plan and they take our schematic plan and they take a look at the blow counts that were done for the building or some other geotechnical information, and they basically determine how much bedding needs to go down and how many courses would be underground. What we show,
Okay.
what
my
we
concern
show is the
just if we
reveal height. Yep.
stay within that 5 foot footprint, which I appreciate you taking into consideration to build the wall. Most people go right up to,
No, you got to be able to build it. We have to be
Yep.
able to build it too. We'd be leaving you with a 20-foot no disturb.
right.
So
And can you go back to the plan and show us, I think you mentioned you did perk test for the septic. Can you just show us where the septic is?
I can. If you want to just go up a couple pages,
Oh, on this plan?
sure, we can use this one.
Let's see.
It's off to the right.
Oh, I think I see it.
Yeah,
There
off
it is.
to the
Okay.
right.
I see
and,
it right there.
You
Yep.
know, I did a bunch more perk tests over there. Got 2 minutes per inch. Found the groundwater, ran the Frimpter calcs, designed a full septic system, which is ready to be submitted. And the applicant has found the private sewer holder, and we'll be calling them as well. We're going to run it twice. We'll probably, if we get any resistance from the private sewer, we'll probably file the septic, but the gentleman had a very productive conversation and doesn't feel that's going to be a bother to connect to the private sewer. So we'll probably make a slight change, which would be a benefit to the Concom's, because we won't have to bring in the fill and we won't have to clear those particular trees.
So are you showing, oh, that's outside of our jurisdiction right now? Because if you need to design it, I don't see any grading associated with that, or very minor. So are we approving the septic system? And if so, have you showed the full,
You are,
Grading
and the full
associated with it?
You are, and the full grading is shown on the plan, as it is on the
Okay.
same plans that would be filed with the Board of Health. So the limit of work here is dictated by that on-site sewage disposal system. We are seeking to get it approved. In the event that we cannot connect to the sewer, we've got all of our bases covered. As I had
Okay.
mentioned before, we see that if there is a reason we don't have to build the on-site sewage disposal, it would be kind of a little bit of a benefit to the commission, because our limit of work would shrink a little bit, and we wouldn't have to clear the trees and work the soil in that area.
okay. And then two other quick questions. John, can you zoom in on the front of the building? I'm just curious. It's probably a planning board issues, but you're showing parking, and those people have to back into where a trailer is perpendicular to them. So you're showing parking spaces, but then aren't the bays right beside that?
Yep. There's 24
How's that
feet.
work?
There's 24 feet to back out of the parking
Oh.
stall before the bays
Oh,
start.
okay. It's deceiving. So those people are literally going to be backing into a trailer that's loading
Yes,
or
but
unloading.
they'll have 24.
Eventually.
They'll have 24 feet of room. If we go up a
Okay.
couple stalls
right.
just to fill this in, a couple pages, we have a layout plan somewhere.
Okay.
That should have
Just
some
a
of
little
those things
funky.
dimensioned
All right.
out. But we have 24 feet before the, eight, well, I think it's 18 or 19, actually. 19 plus 24 before you have to interfere with the loading bays.
Okay.
The applicant does not
Okay.
anticipate too much car parking here.
Okay. One last question, which I found interesting. You mentioned the use of concrete instead of asphalt.
Yep.
So does the owner expect to treat the surface any different in the winter to avoid spalling in this part of the country? I don't know what part of the country they're from, but concrete doesn't last too long if you're going to add,
Yeah.
if you're going to salt this area.
I assume so. We did put together our O&M plan, and that you brought up a great point about long-term maintenance of concrete. Concrete doesn't really like the salt so much. So I think what they do is they spray the liquid magnesium before the storms. But I'm certainly willing to ask them what their plan is for that. But
So was that part of the O&M, did you say? that
I
you
think the
included that?
O&M calls for just no salt. Because
Okay, I mean, Thomas, this is not in an aquifer protection zone, is it?
No, to my knowledge.
Okay. So at that point, it's just a potential risk that the owner would be taking of that concrete spalling after a few years, but, okay. Thank you.
Thank you for the questions.
Any other questions? So, peer review is complete on this project. Is that correct, John?
My understanding
Oh.
is that it is, yes.
Okay. Um, okay, so planning is not overseeing the peer review.
Yeah,
it
planning,
says.
because they filed first with the planning department. I spoke with the planning director and told him that if that was the case, they should probably take the lead on the peer review to get it started. And they have done so. I guess the planning board's next meeting is August
5th, next Tuesday.
and I guess ours, obviously the 11th, we're not going to meet potentially. So, that gives us time to put together and draft an order, or myself to put together and draft an order in anticipation of potential revisions that the applicant's going to basically put together, but then also potential close and issuance of an order at the meeting on the 25th, because we can't close the meeting because we'd be beyond the 21-day window for this project.
So
I guess the
unless-
question is whether or not you think the planning board process may precipitate any changes that would, and maybe we shouldn't close, but that's up to you.
Well, I think we can't close because of it's beyond the 21 day.
Oh, I see. Because of the timing anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're right. Planning may necessitate a change, and then wouldn't want us to be closed. So
If it would be easier for the commission, and I don't know if we're allowed to, but we could give you we could acknowledge that the commission's only meeting once a month and they can't meet the 21 days to issue an order. That way we don't have to have another public hearing and you can I think it's going to be fairly straightforward, but do you want-
One way or another, we'd have to basically, the commission's going to want to see the order conditions.
Yeah.
I don't have a draft ready and available.
Okay.
The next time the commission would be able to make any sort of, I guess, decision and issue the draft order would be on the 25th.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that would be more than likely the time at which we would close and issue any potential order for this project.
It works perfect. I was trying to save us reopening the public
Yeah.
hearing, if it makes sense, but if you want to leave it open, that way you can accept new information as well.
yeah, but this is standard. I mean, we
Yeah.
did this with another one tonight.
No problem.
But I think the underlying question is, have we received all the information we need to generate an order? And that is
Yes.
we have. So you can coordinate with John as to whether or not any representative needs to attend the
next
next
time.
meeting, but that will depend partly on the outcome of your planning board meeting.
Understood. Thank you.
So I think unless there are further questions, we can entertain a motion to continue the hearing for file number 250-1181.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
So we have a motion by Joe, seconded by Lisa. Dan, Joe, and Lisa, how do you vote?
Aye.
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 And Mark?
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. Motion carries. And that brings us to, so there was no file number obtained today, is that right?
For that one, it was 1181.
No, for our next one, which is,
Oh, we just received it today.
okay, and so what would that
Thank
be?
you for your time, Mr. Chairman, members of the Conservation Commission.
You bet.
you.
That one is
Thank you.
1182.
All right, so our next hearing is for file number 250-1182. It concerns 0 East Hodges Street site, and it is an ANRAD. So do we have a representative on the Zoom? Yes, we do. Okay. You better just test your audio there. I didn't hear anything come through.
Oh, yeah, yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Brian Dunn with MBL Land Development and Permitting. Good evening, everybody.
And
Good
I
evening.
think likely...
We can hear you, Brian.
Yeah, we
Okay,
can hear
great,
you,
thank you.
and you can share your screen, or, John, I don't know if you have...
Can you share it, Brian?
Yes, I'm going to try to share. I'm don't know why I can't see the Zoom call now for some reason. Honestly.
We have that. Is that part of the problem right there? The fact that we have a placeholder?
Oh, I don't know why that's doing that. Hold on. I have to stop sharing.
What?
That's why.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
That's why
Okay,
it was just showing my squirrel for some reason. I don't know. Sorry, guys.
Okay. All right. So we'll start with the ANRAD report and an introduction. Again, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, Brian Dunn with MBL Land Development and Permitting, with offices at 5 Bristol Drive in southeastern Mass. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Pascal Latouf, who owns the property located on East Hodges, on the west side of East Hodges. Really, it's got a 0 East Hodges address. It's really identified as map 36, lots 6, 145, 44, 145, and 146. It's approximately 14.9 acres on East Hodges Street. We have prepared plans that show the wetland delineation as well as the flood zone of in that area, which is really a 0.2% chance of flooding. It was delineated property by Brad Holmes of ECR back on April 4th of this year. We do have an ACEC in this area, the 3 Mile River. We've identified that on the plans. We've also identified the certified vernal pool and its location, which is on the plans, and we do have some mapped natural heritage zone, and there is a perennial stream that runs from like the northwest through to the northeast side of the site and goes underneath East Hodges. As John identified, we were given a DEP file number with no comments today. It's 250-1182. And what I did was I just shared this screen for now to give you an idea of the magnitude of the property and its location. You know, we did provide a detailed ANRAD report with all of these maps, as you can see that I'm sharing right now. Topography map, and then the FEMA floodplain. You can see where the FEMA floodplain of that flood zone X goes through the property. The red outlined area are all of the 1, 2, 3, 4 lots. And let's see here. Maybe I can. This is the natural heritage mapping overlay, so you can see the front of the site is mapped as natural heritage. And if I can stop sharing, I'm gonna go to the plans. I could have just stayed right where I was. Let me see here. Okay. Hey, can we see the plans now, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission?
We can.
Okay, great.
Yes.
So just go to the front. So we did a very detailed set of plans for the ANRAD submission, cover sheet, really an index sheet where all the different sheets are going to be, because we are talking about, 14, almost 15 acres of land to show mapping on. You can see the limits of the bank in blue, and then you can see where the water goes underneath East Hodges. This is the certified vernal pool in this area here. And zooming down, you can see the green line, which is the wetland edge line, the BVW that was flagged. Of course, the blue is the bank that was identified by Brad in his office. And as you can see, we did a detailed survey of the property with the stone walls and property limits. This pink line is the area of natural heritage. It was based on the mapping that I showed before. You can see this is the area of, all of this area here is Natural Heritage Zone. And of course, this is that bank area, and then the BVW, small area of upland over here, small area of upland over here, and then the majority of the upland is towards the west area of the property. So this is the other side of that plan, showing the remainder of the property. So did I skip over? No, that was it. So what we've submitted is an ANRAD for your review and consideration, and to approve the resource areas that we have identified here, which is the BVW, the bank, limits of flooding. The certified vernal pool has already been certified, so that's showing up on Mass GIS. We've just identified it more clearly on the plan here. So that's what we're asking for, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission.
What's the rough area of the upland in the rear?
I think the rough area of the upland, if I can, let me see. I think,
So I mean, the entire property is 14. So I'm
yeah,
assuming
so
it's 7 or
618,000 square feet, probably around 480 to 90 square feet of the rest of the lot is upland, Mr. Chairman.
Now I'm assuming you're presenting this with the idea of crossing that wetland.
We've started to look into that possibility, but we really don't know if we're going to go that route or not. I know we want to, after this is approved, we want to be able to schedule some perk tests. So the next go around with you is to file a notice of intent for us to access the front area of the lot to do those perk tests, and then possibly, if we're going to go to the back area of the lot, to show those temporary accesses, through the wetland area and over the stream. It would be ideal to do it in a dry condition, probably sometime in August or September, where it's going to be the driest of the year. So that's probably our next steps after we have these resource areas approved.
John, do you have any comments about the boundary delineations?
I have no comments about the boundary verification, validation of all the resource area flags. I was out there. Nice piece of property, by the way, in the back there. It's gorgeous. Nice trail system back there, too. The stone walls are magnificent, well kept. Look like you're looking at something from like the 1800s. It's great. What I will say, obviously the resource areas, they're abundant on this property. I would look at, if you're obviously looking at potential, impacts, take a look at ACEC, take a look at what the commission's allowed to potentially allow an applicant to do impacts within an ACEC, and then before you decide to file a notice of intent. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Yep, sure. If I can, John, after this, I probably want to come down and meet with you and maybe Paul and discuss what the approaches are and what the do's and don'ts are. So not a problem.
Yeah, because
I have some questions.
We have another project that's coming in front of us for a notice of intent, and they were instructed to basically not go over 5,000 square feet of wetland impacts because it would not be allowed. So with working in an ACEC.
Lisa, I think you had a question.
I have several questions. So you mentioned natural heritage polygon. So is it priority habitat, or is it estimated, or is it both?
As far as I know, it's estimated.
So then that's not subject to MESA. So there's two different types of habitat, correct? It's one's priority, which is subject to MESA, and the estimated habitat is subject to the Wetlands Protection Act. So, it looks like it's both per your note.
Yes.
Okay. So they're coincidental. Okay. What is the flood zone elevation?
It's non-determined, it's flood zone X.
It's not going to meet any sort of FEMA requirements. It's X. It doesn't meet any of the criteria.
So it's not 100. X we're talking is greater than
500.
the 500 year.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Okay.
in between 100 and 500.
it's not applicable.
Okay. So the last question I have is, you kept mentioning bank of that perennial stream. Did Brad actually, so in order to
He flagged the mean
determine
annual
where
high water
riverfront
mark.
is measured from it? Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
So Brian, just for your information, it's mean annual, not bank,
Okay.
when you're determining riverfront.
We as surveyors and engineers, we call them bank, but we understand what you're saying. Understood.
Sometimes the mean annual high water mark is
Comes from the
coincident
INRAD, you
with the
gotta be-
bank, yes. And in this case, it was.
Coincidental with the bank.
Yep.
Correct. Yes, thank you. But we like to be precise because we're approving an ANRAD. So, thank you.
Yeah, normally, Brian, we don't talk about plans beyond the ANRAD while we're discussing the ANRAD, but this is such an unusual site, and it really seems like a mega challenge to get across all of that stuff. And it would make me think an alternative entry into that parcel might be the better way to go, but you'll have to decide that.
Yeah, we can certainly explore that option, and I can discuss that with Pascal. I mean, she's on the call this evening as well. So, if you'd like to discuss anything, with her this evening, she's on the call as well.
No, I think it would be outside the scope of this meeting, but it's certainly, before you guys spend a whole bunch of money doing a whole bunch of engineering, you may find that it's just not possible to cross it in the context of the current regulations.
I think I'll basically reserve that for a discussion that Brian, if you want to entertain having that discussion with Paul and I, maybe next week or sometime whenever you're able. As you know, probably from most of the meetings or hearings before you, is that, we're not going to be able to make any sort of decision on this until the 25th of August. We're not going to have a quorum on the 11th, and therefore, the issue here at hand is that it will probably require a continuance until that time for me to generate a ORAD for this, because I had no issues or concerns with the wetland resource areas as they're on the plans. So
That's great news. So that gives us plenty of time to meet and discuss and plan an approach.
yep. And I know the neighbor to the west and to the east too. So if we need to bring them in and have a discussion with them, we can bring them in as well.
Understood. I like that.
All right, so unless there are further questions about the ANRAD portion of this, we can consider a motion to continue the hearing for file number 1182.
So moved.
Second.
So this is a motion to continue until the 25th of August. So we have a motion by Dan and seconded by Lisa. So Joe, Dan, and Lisa, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
I only heard two ayes, but Joe, I assume you were an aye. Yeah, okay. And then Mark, and I'll throw in an aye as well.
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries. And that brings us to the end of our public hearing section.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. John, we'll talk to you later on this week.
Sounds
Thank you
good,
so
Brian.
much.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Thanks for
Yes, sir.
coming in.
Bye now.
All right, I think the only further item is our order of condition for file number 250-1174, 361 Rear Old Colony Road. Actually,
So, John, I had a question about number 2.
Which one's number 2? Sorry.
Oh, it says a certified vernal pool not designated by natural heritage.
Yes.
So is it certified or is it not certified?
So
I'm confused.
So
does it qualify for certification?
Yes.
But NESHAP
So
hasn't certified
So,
it.
for instance, I guess
Okay.
obviously I can reword it to whatever is appropriate. But
Yep.
my understanding is it is a certified vernal pool. It's just not called out by natural heritage. So, do we want to say?
So- Yes, we can't say it's certified if it hasn't been certified. So I think what we need to say is that a vernal pool has been identified that meets the qualifications for certification. That's all.
So I'm going to say a vernal pool not designated by natural heritage, an endangered species program, which meets.
Well, who certified it though?
Huh?
Who
The
certified
They,
it?
applicant
they
has to
acknowledge
certify
they acknowledge that it meets the certified status.
Oh, but nobody finalized it. as
Yes.
certified.
So, for instance, I'm going to say a vernal pool not designated by natural heritage, which would meet
certification criteria.
certification criteria. Yes.
Yeah. So now are we going to ask the applicant to certify it?
That is basically something that we could request that they do before construction. Is that something you guys would recommend or would like?
Yes. Yes. Otherwise, it will never be certified.
Okay.
So I would say prior to the start of construction,
Okay. So I will
they
add.
can
Yes. Go ahead.
at least to provide the paperwork for certification. Now, I don't know how long it's taking NESHAP these days to acknowledge it, approve it. So would I hold it up for that? I don't know.
My thought process is that if they can confirm that it was submitted to Natural Heritage, I'm good with that. So let me put that in there under. Well, then it's going to be under special conditions number 2. Prior to the commencement of construction activities, the applicant shall complete the following, and then I'll add in E that states vernal pool.
Yeah, proof of submission of the application to NESHAP.
Yep.
Any other
Thank you.
comments?
Yep.
So basically, we only have things that alter from the standard text on the first page.
Yeah, everything that is most of the time major or is different from what we submit is I typically like to highlight so it makes it easier for all you to look at.
And of course, my copy has reason to believe that AI may not be all it's cracked up to be, because it goes on from 2 out of 2 to 3 out of 2 to 4 out of 2
Oh,
to 5
yeah,
out of 2.
the page numbers are wacky.
So it's
They're all wacky. Actually, 1 of 2, 2 of 2, 3 of 2. Just want to fix that.
I think it probably is fine in Megan's copy. It's just when it goes
Okay.
in and gets chewed up by...
Would you like me to make it so that way we have PDFs available in addition to the Word document?
Oh, I don't think it matters.
Well, it matters
It's a
when you print
PDF.
it is a PDF?
Yeah. That's what I'm
Megan?
looking at. Just make sure the page numbers are good. That's all. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a PDF, isn't it?
No, it's a Word document.
Yeah, I mean, this has
Oh,
happened before.
You're
with-
right. It is a Word document. Okay. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm seeing them in correlation 1 through 6 on Megan's computer. So I don't know.
Oh,
I think it's just that transition.
I can make a PDF as well if that's easier. That way, if there is any errors.
So if we don't have any further questions or comments, we can consider a motion to approve the order of conditions for file number 250-1174 as amended.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Lisa, seconded by Joe. Mark, Dan, and Joe, how do you vote?
Aye.
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 And Lisa?
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. The motion carries. And I think that brings us to the end of our agenda.
So what do we think about our first hybrid meeting?
I'm out of my natural environment, my natural habitat. It's awkward.
Feels a little clumsy.
It does, especially for me. I prefer having two screens. I don't have that here. It's a lot easier for me to manage Zoom and also the sharing stuff on the screen when I have two screens. So just throwing it out
What's
there.
the requirement, John? Is it that you're there and at least one person? What is the requirement? I have no
The
idea.
requirement, as described by Bob Kimball on 2 occasions, was that there has to be a place in town hall where people who don't feel comfortable logging in on Zoom can come and talk to us. And as you saw tonight, I was very busy managing the audience here tonight.
I was about to turn my monitor around so you can see the audience, but there's no one here. Just so
Nobody
we know.
arrived. We have Ben
So
in the
Did
booth.
the applicant's representative, they obviously elected to come in?
Yes,
He
they,
did,
they
yeah.
said that they asked me, which is more appropriate, to meet in person or
Yep.
meet virtually over Zoom. And he said, we had a conversation, he said, I don't mind meeting in person. But if Zoom's going to be available for the next meeting, I'm probably going to meet via Zoom. I said, yeah, it is.
Okay.
Because he was planning on meeting in person anyway.
Okay.
But this evening, there's no one in the audience. And, this is a little bit more difficult for me to run this meeting this way than it is via Zoom. I'm just going to be honest. And I think I need to be fully transparent.
So is the premise for a resident of Norton to come, obviously, right? So what happens 3 months, 4 months, 6 months,
And
12 meetings from now when no one ever shows up? If they don't show up,
and
do
that's
we
data.
revisit this or
That's data.
that?
And that's data we can present to the
Yep.
select board that,
Okay.
yes, it was a good thought, but people are very comfortable with remote meetings and not only comfortable, it's just so much more convenient. You don't have to get in your car and go, wherever you live in Norton for 10 or 15 minutes. And so on. So yeah.
Does one person have to show up from the commission plus John and Megan? I'm trying to get a handle
Well,
on
yes,
what the expectation is.
There has to be somebody in town hall that people can come and access the meeting through. And I'm perfectly willing to be that person. I just live a mile down the road, so it's not a major inconvenience. Unfortunately, it's inconvenient for you guys because when the meetings go late, then you got, at least John has quite a drive.
Yeah, it's only 30 minutes.
So-
It's nothing major.
Okay.
But
But John, it's a requirement that you're there?
Yeah, you'll have to scope it out as to whether you can be on Zoom or not.
I think
Right.
the biggest challenge here is I have two options. I can run remotely Zoom from my home office at home, and then you guys just need to tap in here. Or I have to be here so I can coordinate and discuss things if things get interesting with the residents here. We didn't have that this evening.
Ah.
I'm not going to say that it
Okay.
doesn't happen, but
Okay.
I mean, that's the other. I mean, I can't. I'm going to tell you right now, I can't have a discussion with somebody and manage Zoom at the same time like I can at home. It's not the easiest thing because it's a lot going on. I'm okay at multitasking, but this is a little bit new wave for me. So I just think, this was a good test. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Gonna be blatantly honest. Not a fan.
Yeah, the audio's not great. I'm having a little bit of trouble, but
Yeah, I guess the question is, do we have to get close to the microphone like this for you guys to hear well?
works a little better. Although I can hear John and he's further away because I was looking at that. I'm like, John's further away, but I can hear him clearer than Julian, and I don't know why.
Yeah, well, John is like he's at a baseball game when he's speaking.
He says that I project my voice.
Well, it's running through that laptop.
Yeah, it's running from there and all the way through. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll try to hug the microphone in the future
Okay.
to make it easier to hear what's
Could
going
just be
on.
me. I don't know. I'm half deaf, and I have these new noise canceling spaceship headphones. So hard to tell. Yeah.
I just have a quick note, and I wonder if this will be, if you want to put it in an agenda bullet. I heard on NPR that there is a town in New York, and it's not alone, that is having so-called repair fairs, where you bring some sort of appliance or a bicycle or something like that, and there are people there who will repair it for you if they can figure out how. And it seems to me this is a good way to reuse, at least, if not recycle. In fact, reusing is the better one. So I don't know if if I should. You want to have it as an agenda bullet, or do you want me to write I'd be happy to write a note if you want to you and the selectmen.
Select board.
Or
Select board.
select board. Sorry, the select board. Something. Any thoughts
So would it be something that the Concom
on
sponsors?
that? Well, it is a matter of, I don't know, maybe not, because it's not water necessarily,
Well,
but
the
it is
difficulty
environmentalism.
the difficulty is the
No,
most
what-
common items that are in need of repair often have a gasoline engine on it. And you'd have to find an acceptable place where that could happen without any kind of contamination or and sometimes they require parts. It's I mean, it's kind of a tall order, and unless you have particular people who are devoted to the idea of maintaining these pieces of equipment, it's going to be difficult. I mean, I personally love to maintain small engines, but it's not always doable.
Well, I mean, the examples they gave were a bicycle and a sewing machine. Somebody wanted to fix the sewing machine. Well, you've got a lot of dust around the needle or whatever it was.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
somebody
It's
took it apart. I mean, these are people who like to take things apart, put them back together. As far as the venue, they said that this was in a hockey rink that had been, I don't know if it was a dry hockey rink or whatever it was. I can send you the
Yeah,
NPR.
I mean, it's not a bad
NPR
idea
article.
at all. you know, we can potentially talk about it offline or try to figure out where that kind of thing could
Dan,
happen.
what about, you know how every once in a while I drive by St. Mary's where the fire department or somebody has a collection day for non-recyclables? What about tying it to that? Who runs that? Is that DPW? I don't even know. They have like electronics, recycling, drop your stuff off.
I know that the
I've seen that
DPW
sign.
does that stuff from time to time. I think
Yeah.
they just did
so
it
that
recently.
might be a good. Yes, they did. That's because I saw a sign. That might be the place to do it, Dan, because people are coming
I'm
there to
reading
drop
it.
stuff off anyway.
Writing that down.
Maybe we can
Right.
promote the
would make
Conservation
sense to
Commission
me.
in the process and get 2 more members out of it too.
There you go.
Marketing, Dan, marketing.
Okay. That would make sense to
Marketing.
me, Dan. If people are dropping stuff off anyway, they might bring something that
Okay.
they want to get rid of, but at the same time, that can't be repaired. That might be the right venue.
Well, everything can be repaired.
Um,
It's a question of how
Eventually.
how much you want to stand on your head to do it.
so this is something that happens outside the fire department. Do you have a name for it?
I
The-
saw one of those
the-
sandwich boards on the side of the, was it St. Mary's Church? It was somewhere on 123, and it was like
Oh,
last
okay.
week or 2 weeks
You mean
ago,
like
John?
where they
Thomas, do you
collect
remember?
electronics? And,
Dan,
Yeah.
Dan, if you want to send me an email, I will coordinate with the help of the highway department. They usually run most of that stuff. So
Okay.
if you want to basically reach
Okay.
out to me,
I will do that.
okay?
Sounds good.
And just by way of information, I actually will be available on the 11th. I don't know if you want to hold a meeting or at this point we've just planned that we're not going to have a meeting.
Oh, so if that's the case, I mean,
We just continued everything till the,
Yeah, I mean, it's probably irrelevant now, but it turns out I thought I was landing the evening of the 11th. It's actually the evening of the 10th. So,
well,
I'm unavailable that day.
you're not going to be available that day, right? On the 11th?
No.
Yeah, so we wouldn't
yeah,
have a
so
quorum anyway.
all right, that's fine.
yeah, I'm definitely in New Mexico that day.
Yep.
Oh, I'm
Have a good
almost
vacation.
Definitely in Norton that day, but as I always am. So, anyway,
All right, I think
So for this hybrid meeting, we actually need to officially go through the procedures, and we've never done it before, but we actually need to end with the quorum with sign-offs, like you
Make
would
a
in
motion to
person.
close.
second.
okay.
So I think there was a motion to adjourn. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that was
Correct.
Joe and seconded by
Joe.
Dan. So we're going to make it an official roll call vote.
We have to. Yeah.
All right. So Mark,
Aye.
Dan, Joe, Lisa, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
I think I will throw in an eye as well.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you August 25th. If anyone needs to reach me, you know where I am.